Welcome to Loud History. Today we delve into the remarkable story of Anne of Cleves, the fourth wife of Henry VIII, whose life journey took her from a German duchy to the heart of Tudor England. Her tale is one of survival, resilience, and quiet triumph in a court rife with danger and intrigue. Anne of Cleves' story begins in the winter of 1539, when a portrait crossed the sea to England, capturing the attention of King Henry VIII, painted by the renowned Hans Holbein the Younger. The image of Anne dressed in a rich red velvet gown exuded a quiet nobility that enchanted the king. Following the death of his third wife, Jane Seymour, Henry sought not only a new bride but also a strategic alliance to strengthen England's Protestant ties amidst the religious upheavals of Europe. Thomas Cromwell, Henry's chief minister, saw Anne as the perfect match to forge a bond with the Protestant princes of Germany. However, fate had other plans, and Anne's journey would soon take unexpected turns. Born on September 22, 1515 in Dusseldorf, Anne was the daughter of John III, Duke of Cleves, and Maria of Jülichburg. The Duchy of Cleves, a small yet strategically located territory along the Rhine, played a significant role in the Holy Roman Empire. Raised in a strict Lutheran household, Anne's upbringing emphasized piety, obedience, and modesty. Unlike the flirtatious courts of France or the refined English aristocracy, Cleves valued practicality and devotion. Anne spoke only German, had limited musical training, and her education focused on domestic skills rather than courtly arts. These differences would later shape her experience in England, where she was thrust into a world of political games and royal expectations. By the late 1530s, England faced isolation after Henry VIII's break from the Catholic Church. To counter the threat from Catholic powers like France and Spain, Thomas Cromwell proposed an alliance with the Protestant Schmalkaldic League in Germany. Anne of Cleves, with her family's ties to the League, became the ideal candidate for a political marriage. However, Henry insisted on seeing a portrait before agreeing to the match. Hans Holbein the Younger, the court's finest artist, was sent to Cleves to paint Anne. His portrait, now housed in the Louvre, depicted her with serene dignity, dressed in a crimson gown with a structured headdress. Henry was captivated, declaring her very fair, and the marriage was arranged. Yet the portrait, while accurate, could not convey Anne's lack of courtly sophistication, setting the stage for disappointment. Anne arrived in England in December 1539, landing at Deal before traveling to Rochester. Eager to surprise his bride-to-be, Henry disguised himself and visited her unannounced. Expecting a romantic recognition, he was instead met with confusion. Anne, unfamiliar with English customs, did not recognize the king and recoiled when he attempted to kiss her. Humiliated, Henry stormed out later, telling his advisors, "I like her not." He complained of her appearance, calling her ill-favored, and even questioning her virtue. Despite the public nature of her arrival and the political stakes, Henry could not hide his disillusionment. The marriage proceeded on January 6, 1540, at Greenwich Palace, but the seeds of its undoing had already been sown. The wedding took place in a small private ceremony, but tensions simmered beneath the surface. Henry, now nearly 50 and plagued by health issues, found no joy in his new bride. He claimed he could not consummate the marriage, blaming Anne's appearance and even her breath. Anne, ever dutiful, remained silent about his coldness. Meanwhile, Thomas Cromwell, who had orchestrated the match, saw his influence wane as Henry's frustration grew. By June 1540, Henry sought an annulment, citing non-consummation and a prior betrothal Anne had as a child. On July 9, 1540, the marriage was dissolved. Remarkably, Anne did not protest. Instead, she accepted the decision gracefully, a choice that would secure her future in ways few could have predicted. In exchange for her cooperation, Anne received a generous settlement, Richmond Palace, Hever Castle, and an annual income of £4,000. She was also given the title the King's beloved sister, ensuring her place at court without the dangers of queenship. Anne adapted quickly to her new life, learning English, embracing local customs, and forming close bonds with Henry's children, particularly Princess Mary. She attended court functions, including Henry's wedding to Catherine Howard, and lived comfortably free from the pressures of royal duty. When Henry died in 1547, Anne continued to thrive under the reigns of Edward VI and Mary I. She never returned to Cleves, choosing England as her home until her death in 1557. Anne of Cleves passed away on July 16, 1557, at Chelsea Manor, likely from cancer at the age of 41. She was buried in Westminster Abbey, a rare honor for someone not of English royal blood. Her tomb, though modest, bears the inscription, "Anne, wife of Henry VIII," acknowledging her brief but significant role. Often overshadowed by Henry's other wives, Anne's legacy is one of quiet strength. She navigated rejection with dignity, turning it into an opportunity for independence and respect. In a court where survival was uncertain, Anne not only endured but flourished, leaving behind a story of resilience that continues to inspire. Anne of Cleves's journey from a German duchy to the Tudor court is a testament to her adaptability and grace. Though her marriage to Henry VIII was brief and unfulfilled, she emerged not as a victim, but as a survivor who thrived in a foreign land. Her story reminds us that even in the face of rejection, one can find strength and carve out a life of dignity. As we reflect on her legacy, we see not just a forgotten queen, but a woman who rewrote her fate with quiet courage. References: Historic Royal Palaces, British History Online, and various documents on the Tudor dynasty.